this whole idea of mastering the hidden order, it feels there's a lot of magic in here. And when I say magic, I'm talking about the hidden order is that which is not seen, but can be felt. And I think that that's the biggest piece about the mastering the hidden order is developing a sense of trust.
Debz is a stressologist. She will stretch your mindset to think bigger than you've ever thought before, with follow-through techniques that are realistic and achievable to blow any fear out of your mind. Moira is a mindset cultivator. She will help you align your personal trinity of self-trust, inner awareness, and self-confidence so that you discover and share your unique gifts and purpose. Together, their goal with these conversations is to share how our inclinations do not always work in our best interest and to provide the knowledge to leverage the gifts that already exist within each one of us. Their desire is to help you learn how to access the habits and behaviors that will lead to positive change and your best quality of life. Welcome to your deliciously motivated mindset.
That's my drum roll. Welcome, listeners. Welcome, Moira. Welcome, Debz.
Welcome, Debz.
To our Deliciously Motivated Mindset podcast. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
This is a goodie. This is a goodie.
This is a damn goodie. This is a great one. Okay, straight into it. Right. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We're going to rate ourselves. Straight in. Now, rating is when you put yourself to find your emotions of where you are at, with 0 being completely neutral, in a lovely space, safe in your mind and in your body. And 10, that's between 9 and 11. Yeah. My accent. You are in a complete pickle.
Dire straits.
Yeah, you are completely frazzled. You look like you've put your finger in the socket. You are feeling that way. You're struggling with everything, and everything is down on top of you like a ton of bricks. And the reason we rate ourselves is just to give ourselves a check-in of where we are sitting in our emotion and in our physical and what's going on around us before we start the podcast. And then at the end of it, when you can see if you've had some golden nuggets that's allowed you to shift your emotion and your rating process. And I would also encourage you to do this throughout the day.
Absolutely.
As well in your own world or week.
Yeah.
Where you are.
Yep.
So
it's a good self-management tool.
Yeah, totally. It's quite alerting. It's
alerting.
Quite,
I like that.
Alerting. There's another new word for Deborah. It's quite
educational.
It's an awakening. Yeah, that's it. Educational. So, Moira, what number would you be? So, if anyone's listened to us before, which I'm sure you have, because if you haven't, then you've clearly
missed out. You missed out on so much.
You've been a 10 all your life, and yeah. So go back and listen to every single episode. You will hear us as that we go, oh no, damn, that's right. Now we've got to rate ourselves as we start this. And when we first did this a while ago, we would giggle at where we are, and now we actually are so in sync that we're pretty much usually the same number each time. Of not the same number where we are, but the same number. Moira and I would be the same number. So I'm curious to know what Moira's number is. So Moira, what number would you be? A 0 or would you be a 10?
I'm going to say I'm a 1. And
straight into it, boom.
Just straight there. And because I dithered with saying a 0, but then I thought I'm excited about what we're going to talk about, and who knows? Maybe there's something hidden in there. So that's why I'm putting myself at 1.
It is funny because I have said to myself what number you are, and then all of a sudden, instead of saying I'm a 3, I end up going back at the end of the call at the end of our podcast and I'm like a 5 or a 6. I'm like, that's not how it's supposed to be. But it's because I clearly have a list of things to work on and we've had some insight. So don't be alarmed if the number you have now, you're going to go backwards. But I'm actually going to say a 1 as well. Surprise.
Ta-da!
Because I feel a 0, but I feel there's going to be some golden nuggets that's going to come out of this.
Mhm.
So it's a little bit of excitement, a little bit of, oh, where are we going to take this tangent? But also what's going to come out of here that I'm going to have to work on myself for my internal thought process. So I'm going to say a 1 as well. So we are both 1s. Better write that 1 down. Got that. Better write that 1 down.
1.
So write it down, kick your feet up, people, pen and paper, little sip of your drink, whatever it is you're drinking, and here we go. Today we are talking about mastering the hidden order.
I just love that title, Mastering the Hidden Order. And people will be like, what?
If people had actually heard us when we went, what about that one? We were both jumping out of our headsets. What about that one? That's a great one. Because it just opens so much. There's the mastering, there's the hidden order, there's order, what's hidden. There's so much behind those 4 words. So kick us off, Moira. Mastering the hidden order. What is that meaning? And help.
Help. You know, this whole idea of mastering the hidden order, it feels there's a lot of magic in here. And when I say magic, I'm talking about the hidden order is that which is not seen, but can be felt. And I think that that's the biggest piece about the mastering the hidden order is developing a sense of trust. Is that you know how you can be going along with a situation and it's unfolding this way, that you know, let's say you wake up and you say, okay, I'm going to make this phone call, and then something comes up that you have to go out. You have to go and pick something up or do something, and so then you don't get to make that phone call, and then things, you know, take place during your day, and then you find out that that person that you were going to call wasn't there, and when you did actually sit down to do it, they were like, oh, I was just thinking about you, I was just so ready to talk to you.
I've got time out of my day to talk to you right now. Funny you rang me.
Yes, funny. Yeah. It's funny you picked that up. But that's what we're talking about the hidden order of things. And so to me, part of the mastery in here is to relax, to be at peace, to realize that if your head's saying, oh my God, this has to happen this way, right now, and then it doesn't, well, maybe it wasn't supposed to.
That's that desperation, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you're desperation over inspiration, when you're desperate for things to happen, they don't ever go your flippin' way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of that quote that says, we make plans and God laughs.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. That's exactly it. But you're right, and you gave quite a few golden nuggets here. You know, you talked about trust, and that's that trust and knowing that whatever it is, you're on the right path. And I think that's the important thing that we don't do enough of for ourselves. And even myself, who sits in my intuition and sits in my business, what I do, I don't sit and trust 100%. I don't know anybody who does sit and trust 100%, because there are moments of wobbling or wavering or whatever, just for us to go, oh, because that's okay to appreciate those wobbles, because it alerts you to, is this really important? Is this a fantasy? Is this the truth? Is this my expectation? Is this realistic? You know, all those things. But I don't believe anyone can sit 100% in that trust. It just opens you up to the bigger hidden order, and then to master it.
Absolutely. And you know what was coming to mind as you were saying that is that you and I have this in common very much, that we use our intuition and kind of our craft. This is what we do for ourselves, and we train, teach, and counsel people in this area. But what I really recognize too is each one of us has our own way of mastery. So for some people, it will be an implicit trust in intuition, whereas other people, it has to come through their thinking process. And other people, they might have to have a gut feeling about it, or that they actually have to have the emotional vibe about something. So it's never to say that there is any one way through this. And to your point, this is part of human condition, is that no one can say, I 100% trust everything's in flow and everything, because these are words. We can get the vibe of it, and that is my choice. But there will be times that I'll go, oh wait, what about this? Right?
Yeah, and I think, and it goes down to that same thing of today you can trust, but tomorrow something can come up, and the same thing can happen, but because of you, I don't know what you call it. You call it your physical, your spiritual.
Oh, the PEMS, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual.
Yeah. PEMS. I'm writing that down, people. And because of your PEMS, it can change. That trust can change. And I think it's just going, okay, yesterday I trusted this, but today I didn't. Yeah. And that's okay. Yes. Like, don't go, oh, what's happened to me? What's really going on?
What's wrong with me?
Yeah. Why am I feeling like this? Just go, okay, well, this is what it's about. There's obviously something in the PEMS, which I think is a great one. But like mastering the hidden order, if we were to break it down to certain things, there's definitely trust. What else is there to key us along with mastering?
There's a number of pieces. So being aware, of what are the words that I am using in alignment with what I'm choosing and what I desire, or am I undermining myself, or talking smack about myself and my abilities and what it is I want?
Or words and actions. People can sell you on so many words, but unless they're actually, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. Well, actually, if you want to do it, then why aren't you getting off your ass, no questions, and do it? Right. Like, that's exactly it. Words and actions are. Awareness is definitely something. And awareness to me also goes into hidden order.
It does.
It's just opening your flipping eyes.
Yes. Yeah. But do you know the other part that comes into this mastery part is to be your own guru, to be your own wise being. And what I mean by that is, you just said an example of, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. I am very wary of who I tell I want to do something until I am completely crystal clear that I am confident that it is in alignment with what I want, and that I have the capacity for it.
Yeah, there was something, I was trying to find it. Yeah, and I was just trying to think, I had to quickly pull up my social media. There's something I put on my Instagram story, and it said, set some goals, stay quiet about them, smash the shit out of them, and clap for your damn self. And I just think that's exactly it. Yeah, I know. Set some goals, stay quiet about them, smash the shit out of them, and clap for your damn self. And that's the other thing is, who you share with and who you don't. Yeah. Like, I know one of the things I get frustrated with in celebrities going, oh, I'm doing this work and I'm doing this and I'm giving back to that. Like, shush, shut up. I don't want to hear. I just want to know that people are being well looked after in whatever way. Right. You don't have to brag. And that's exactly it. Stay quiet about them.
Absolutely.
Just go and, don't swing it around. Yeah.
Well, I think we've talked about this point before on a previous conversation, is that, and this is a piece of Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, his 13 principles. And one of them was that to be very wary and mindful and careful of who you share your goals or your deepest innermost desires. Because if you share it with somebody that says, you can't do that, or why are you doing that, or people like, you never achieve those kind of things. well,
What makes you so different? That's the one I've heard. What makes you so different? And you're like,
yeah.
I don't have any doubt. I just can see it.
But so right, but the point being is it's actually us that created that. Right? It's by us speaking it out to somebody who doesn't have the same vision or the same trust or the same awareness of what it is we want, then we just derailed ourselves, because now we've got that doubt or that judgment or that criticism in our own vibrational bubble. So
yeah, that's a great one, because that's many times I've consulted with people and they say, my mum said I can't do this, or my dad said I can't do this. And I'm like, yeah, but your dad's seen you do certain things in your life, or your friends have seen you. They've never seen you do this. If you think you know, and so they've taken on that same story that, you know, so for me, I was a massive partier prior to the work I do now. But even the partying wasn't drinking. It was just going out, just having a grand old time, doing whatever, dance on any table I possibly could. Dance badly, didn't care. But people would say to me, you're helping people with stress? Like, yeah. They're like, but you generate stress. You pick fights in bars. I'm like, did I? Like, and so people would say, you're not gonna ever be able to do that job.
right.
You know, how can you do that? And I was always like, why couldn't I? Because if anything, I've seen the other side of everything.
Which is the great place. Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, that was people who had known me for a while. And then I'd say, but I don't drink. And they're like, have you never drunk? I'm like, of course I drunk. But then, you know, they were like, oh, yeah, you don't drink, do you? Oh, my God, you're like that without alcohol? I'm like, yeah, that's the reason why I don't drink. Imagine if I drank alcohol. And they're like, yeah, nah. But it's interesting because of that perception and that story they have about me, or had about me, is you can't do that. And I guess for me, I've been that firm believer of growing up of all I hear is challenge.
Right.
You can't do that. And I go,
show me.
Give me a time frame.
Yeah, I'll show you. But
only if I want to do it, instead of being an ass, though. Got to be inspired about doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's so important. And so interestingly, because I've been a partier too in my much younger years. But the thing I find is that the people who knew partier Moira are nowhere in my social circles.
No.
Because as I become and continuously do my own work and do my own, I walk my talk. Everything that I encourage people to try or nurture my clients to doing, I've got there because I'm doing it. And so for anybody to say, oh, you can't do that, most people that know me, but of course I can do that. Because like you, anybody that tried to say I can't do something, that's I'm doing it.
Watch me. Yeah, and I guess our families play a large role in that, you know, because I know we listen to our teachers at a young age, because we are so impressionable at a young age that we listen to our teachers, and our teachers, you know, I've heard many singers who go, oh, your teachers have said, oh, you'll never be able to sing, you're never going to make money from that, you know, and they're making far greater money than the teacher himself and what they're doing. But it's not, to me, it's about the joy of what they're bringing to other people, you know. But if we attached that stuff to us, you know, that's clearly not mastering the hidden order,
right? Because
it's attaching to us and getting stuck to us, unless it attaches to us and then we work through it.
Precisely, because I was just feeling into what you're saying, because I think that's part of the hidden order. Part of the hidden order is that we get
those alertnesses.
Yes, we get those things shown to us. People saying you can't do that, or people like you can't do this, or
who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are?
And but that was always a great one for me. I got that constantly. Who do you think you are?
I'm Debz.
Yeah, I was always perplexed. Why do you know who I am? Like, why would you even ask that? That was I was really confused. Like, why would you even say that? That's stupid. You know who I am.
Perplexing.
Not realizing that's them throwing their shite at me. Oh, is that what you mean?
Exactly. Because, you know, let's say let's say that an aspiration was for somebody to feel prosperous, whatever prosperity meant to them.
Mm-hmm.
That therefore maybe that is their sole purpose or their calling, and that they're going to be an amazing success. But perhaps part of the hidden order of that is everything that is not prosperity, everything that feels like a lack of.
Oh, okay.
So there's a choice here, and this is part of the mastery part, is you can tell a story of, I thought it was because I was going to be prosperous, but here I am sitting with all this lack of. Or when we master the hidden order of things, we'll say, okay, great. We live in polarity. We must know one end of the other in order to know the other, to then get the equilibrium, or to get the balance or the rhythm that we know at the deepest level of us.
And that's down to that awareness, and that's down to that trust as well, as being aware of that. And the moment you're aware, your eyes open wide, and that's when your golden nuggets fall.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm sure you've got examples of that, when you go, oh, and that's how come this happened, and that's how come I did that, and that's why I felt like I was drawn to doing this or not doing that.
Oh, that makes logic. Oh, that makes sense. Why didn't I get that job? And then the next amazing job comes over, and you're just like, oh, that's why I didn't get that job.
Yeah.
Or that's why I didn't,
But there's right back into that trust of the hidden order. Is that, and that's, to me, this is the biggest thing that we are called upon in this life for trust, is even though I cannot see it, or even though I cannot see my way through this, I know it's there. I know it's there.
It's that feel. And so many people say, shut your feelings down. But 2020 was one heck of a feeling.
Yep.
Yeah.
That
and
it was.
Feel in capitals with pom-poms, because if you don't feel, it's just going to dig in like a tattoo into your skin even deeper.
Yep.
If you're going to feel all right. That's exactly it. It is feel what's going on. And then trust. It is that whole thing.
But it's
because
also,
if you don't feel, see, and take action on it, you're going to get stuck.
But don't you think another part of this is truth too, is to tell yourself the truth, right? You're aware, you trust, but if you feel in a funk, or feel weighted down, or feel overwhelmed, that's okay.
Oh yeah, okay, I get what you're saying now. Yep. So that's even along that trust as well. Is it your story? Is it someone else's story? Is it, have you attached to something? Where's this come from? That's, and trust is trust yourself, trust the hidden order, trust those around you, trust that trust comes into such an impact.
A quick wee message before we get back to this episode. You can get access to a special gift Moira and Debz have put together for you. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift. When you sign up, you'll receive instant access to an inner peace kit and the 30 Days of Wisdom program, both of which is intended to help you feel deliciously motivated right away. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift.
Even if you think you're trusting those around you and you're trusting the universe, but you don't trust yourself, you haven't got full trust.
No.
You've got to trust all aspects and all the way, not just, oh yeah, I can trust this is going to happen, like lip service. I trust it's going to happen. You've got to feel it within your soul. I trust this. I've relinquished everything. I've just let it go. I just fully trust that this is going to work. And those moments when people are, if you're listening on here now, and you can think of the time when you've just literally just trusted.
Yeah. But do you
and
know
the divine that comes from it.
Something that I often said to clients over the years too is that I believe trust is an inside job. And
yes,
what I mean by that is if I'm sitting here saying, oh, I can't trust that person, it's really, the truth is I can't trust me. Because when I cultivate implicit trust in me, then of course I trust everybody else around me. But it's because I'm accessing my own position in the hidden order, because we all have our roles to play. And it's just, how awake are you to it? You know, one of my spiritual mentors was really encouraging us. We worked very closely as a group throughout 2020. And this group kept saying to us, celebrate the fact that you're here. Celebrate that you as a soul put your hand up and said, I'm going to be there. I want to be there during those times. Because that's part of all the hidden order too, is you as a soul chose to be here. And so it's time to say, okay, I'm going to wake up to what flavor I am, what gifts I've brought, and I'm going to share them. That's what we're all called to do.
Yeah, and what you're saying is the opposite of trust is fearful, I guess. Fear
or victim mode almost, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so if you're sitting in that space, it's about flicking that mindset to, well, definitely feeling, but being aware and then trusting it. And it's just that is bringing that back down. Yeah, I was just sitting, when you were talking about that, I was thinking about the fear that can come up in people. And it can come like, like a wave. You're at the beach and there's little waves, and then suddenly, boom, there's a big wave and it knocks you down and you're swallowing the salt water, but you just get knocked over, and that can come from nowhere.
Yes.
Least expectation, but that's going down to that trusting that the hidden order, that there's a reason why. Exactly.
And so that wave could perhaps be like a sense of dread that comes up of, oh my God, what if I made the wrong choice? Or what if I'm not that person that can do this? Right? But those are the kinds of feelings that you just feel them, acknowledge them. All emotions deserve to be acknowledged and witnessed and then let go. Because no emotion is permanent.
Yeah, and I agree. And I was just thinking of I've hung out with some pretty inspiring people, some world leaders, I've hung out with them. And I want to say they have shown a lot of people. I find a lot of people have the persona, everything's honky-dory and everything's zen and everything's perfect in my world. But behind the scenes, it's chaos. I've run events for top people, and behind the scenes, they've cursed and sweared and said, this is shite, this is la, 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 and then gone out on stage and gone, and welcome, thanks for having me. And la, la, along comes that telephone voice, and you're like, are you freaking serious? You were just a complete a-hole to 3 of the stage managers, And I think that's the thing, is just knowing that not everyone has their shite together in everything, but we're all evolving human beings who are learning as we go along. And whether you take the time to reflect or you don't, I say you do, but if you don't, it's just going to get bigger and bigger. We know that. But nobody has that whole, it's your PEMS again. It's your PEMS. The mastering the hidden order today, tomorrow the same thing can happen and you may not be able to master it. That's exactly it. But knowing that whatever gets thrown at you today, you can handle it, tomorrow you can't. It's okay. And I think that's the thing, is it's okay. There was quite a big thing. It's okay to not be okay. Remember that? That was on social media. I don't even know how long ago that was. Is that still going? I remember that. I loved that. I really loved that, because it's like, it's okay to not be okay. Like, we think we have to have 100%. We have to be sitting at a 0 zen all the time. That's why there's that scale of 0 to 10. Yeah.
And absolutely, that comes back to tell the truth. Like that example that you were giving about somebody who, their public persona is all
Oh God, that drives me insane.
Rainbows
Yeah.
and lollipops, and then behind
Yeah.
the scene it's kind of dragons and gargoyles.
Demons. Yeah.
Yeah. But you see, it's important to let people see the gargoyles or the demons if that's there, because really that's being so out of integrity and so unauthentic. Is if you've got this persona that, you know, I put the shield on and here I am. You know what? That reminds me of something that I used to say when I started to help people uncover that because a lot of people do it, you know, how they judge themselves based upon how will people think if they knew this about me. And so my analogy of that is that therefore you have to put your hands out in front of you holding a mask. And I used to say, don't your arms get tired after a while? Can you imagine walking around with this, holding this mask all the time? So much nicer just put it down.
Yeah, I remember Dr. John DeMartini says, bring your privates public before your children do. And
That's a good one.
And I remember him saying it, I was like, what is that? And then I'm like, you're right. Because children, you know, I remember taking my daughter and she must have been about 14, 15. And I went to a business event and she was there with me. And it was a higher profile thing, but we were in Australia and she came. And so I heard someone say to Sophie, so what's your mum like outside of here? What's the worst thing she's done? And at that moment, I thought, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like I instantly just felt sick thinking my daughter's going to tell the truth of what I'm like. And then I went, and Sophie said, she swears at home like she does here at the event. What you see here at the event, and I think I recall her saying, I don't know if it was there another time, the only thing she doesn't do is as soon as she gets home, her bra's off. But out in public, she wears her bra. And I remember thinking, oh my God, thank God that's all you've said. And then I'm thinking, that's pretty much it though. I mean, okay, just because I'm talking to Moira and I don't have a bra on, I'm at home. There's a reason for that. But I mean, that's exactly it. It's those things, because bring your privates public before your children do, because children and old people have zero filter.
Yep.
And they just don't care. They just speak freely. Oh, mum and dad did this last night, or mum did this last night, or auntie said this. And then, and at that moment you hear that and you just, if you're that person they're about to talk about, your heart goes through your butthole and you're like, oh, what are they going to say? But they do. Yeah. And I think that's the thing, is just be yourself, be authentic, and be yourself now, because people will accept you more. The real people will accept you more. There's definitely going to be people who judge you on what you look like and what you say out your mouth. But there are people who are going to do that. So it's just
but the thing
having the right people around you.
Absolutely. And to be honest with you, I'm sure there's people that judge or have something to say about how I look, how I show up, what I do say and what I don't. It's none of my business. I'd be disappointed
if they didn't.
It's none of my business anyways, though.
Yeah.
Really. Because
it's their stuff.
But it is their stuff. That's my point. And I think that that's another big piece about mastering the hidden order. Because if we get drawn down and spiraled down into, oh my God, that person thinks this about me, that I should be wearing my bra, or that I should be having my hair a certain way, or wearing X amount of makeup, or having a mask looking a certain way. That's about them. It's got nothing to do with you. So when you master the hidden order, you just kind of go, okay, interesting point of view.
It's ownership of who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. That, when people say to you, and I think that's such a sexy thing as ownership, is when people say to you, God, you're such a, you're so blunt. And instead of getting offended by that, go,
thanks.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I am. Okay. Own it. Ownership. Yeah, thanks. Yep. And that's it. Instead of just going, oh my God, they called me blunt. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. I'm just going to have to change my whole mindset. I'm going to have to be a nicer person. I'm going to have to give myself 1,000,000 lashings, instead of just going, yeah. People say to me, you're so rude. And sometimes I'm like, really? That was me being nice. In my mind, I'm like, okay, but I can see your point of view, because you're this type of person, and it could have sounded harsh, or it could have sounded that. I can see that, ownership. Yeah, I am blunt. I am rude. I am that.
That's a really good point there, though, is that when somebody is giving you some kind of judgment,
Feedback.
Feedback. Well, I was just going to say, is it an assessment? Is it? So it is. I actually always do that too. If somebody says something to me, I will immediately go and say, oh, got to check. Something happened to me earlier today where something got sent to a wrong email address. I need to go and correct that. But the very first thing I did was check to see, did I instruct it correctly in the first place?
Okay, yeah.
Right. And so it's
ownership. That's it.
Exactly. It's like, okay, I got to make sure because if it was me, then nothing needs to be said. It's done. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But that's always been my way, is that if somebody says something, oh, that's wrong, or that wasn't done with enough, whatever label, is go in and make sure, was I in integrity? Was that what I was called upon to do? Was that in alignment with what was required? And then if it's not, then I take action from there. Like to your point, if somebody says, oh, Moira, you were really rude, then like you, I would go back and say, were those words or was that behavior rude? If it was, then I can make an amends and I can apologize and do something different. Or if it wasn't, I can just say thank you, and then kind of know that there's maybe some kind of rudeness going on with that person, right?
Yeah, there's definitely the two aspects of that, and that is, it's their stuff, it's their shite, their PEMS,
their PEMS
of what's going on. But also, I mean, when people give me that feedback on who I am, I find it quite interesting. I'm like, wow, I've never thought about it like that. I've never, and I do jump. It depends on my PEMS. I do jump into that of, gosh, I'm having I'm a little bit tired today. Oh yeah, I can see how I was a little bit sharp. I didn't put, love hearts around my words as I sent them out.
Right.
And you can see that. Or, God, they haven't. People say you're rude, and you're like, God, you've only got 10% of me. Yep. You haven't even got the full 100%. If you want to know what rude is, I can show you. And there's a couple of times in my mind I'm like, I can show you 100% of rude.
If you think that was rude,
I'll give you, what were we growing up? I'll give you something to moan about. I remember that one.
Yeah.
I'll give you something to moan about. No,
stop your complaining. I'll give you something to complain about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'll show you what pain is. Choose the belt.
Stop your whinging. I'll give you something to whinge about. And then, and for our listeners, again, the PEMS that Deb's referring to is that physical, emotional, mental, spiritual well-being. And so that is that we kind of bump up against one another sometimes. And if somebody's physical well-being is off, and then somebody says something that brings up an emotion or brings up a thought or a memory, that's how we all bounce off one another. And so mastering this hidden order, I think it really, the key nugget that I'd like to, I know we're starting to wrap things up here, but the key piece is to bring it back to you. Bring it back into your own core being. Am I trusting? Am I aligning with? Am I witnessing? Am I really acknowledging that we are all coexisting, co-creating, and there is a hidden order in absolutely everything? And how can I be gentler? How can I be kinder? How can I come back into my own space and develop my sense of trust?
You talked about aware, and that's exactly it. Be aware. So take those words and then do action or not.
Yeah. Exactly. Action or not. It's a choice. Yeah. And that's what I mean about coming back to this, to yourself, to your own being. Because maybe today it's take action, maybe tomorrow it's, no, there's another action that calls more or that feels more in alignment.
More inspiring. Yeah.
Oh,
wow. Mastering the hidden order.
I like this one. This is a
goodie.
This is a goodie. I hope this has given our listeners something to think on and to integrate, to bring into their own PEMS, into their own physical, emotional, mental, spiritual sense of self, sense of being, because that is what this hidden order idea is about. That's kind of where we're coming from on that. And so, as we kind of wrap this one up, I'd like
because the numbering,
dang it, it's that numbering thing. So, listeners, whatever number you noted down at the beginning when we asked you, see, did it change? Did it go up or down? And we'd love to hear. Put it in the Facebook group, where you were at or what you need. And of course, if you do need any support or guidance or any kind of further insights on any of this, we're here for you.
We're here.
Both Deb and I are here for you and are easily accessible. So all that said, Deb, what's your number? We were both at a 1.
I'm going to stay at a 1.
Okay.
And the reason I'm going to stay at a 1 is because I'm going to do, when I get off this call, I'm off to the beach because it's really hot here in New Zealand. And so we've got a 2-hour drive to go to the beach. And so I'm going to reflect. I'm going to do some of this of the last, just even the last week, the last 24 hours of how I've been with people, how I've been with myself, am I honest to myself? So I'm going to do some reflection in that car. I'm not driving, by the way, because that reflection might be a little bit difficult with the driving.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna stay at a 1. I'm gonna stay at a 1 because it's definitely given me things to ponder on.
Awesome. And to be honest with you, me too. I'm staying at a 1. There's some things that I shared about that coming into trusting and telling the truth. Whenever I talk about telling the truth, there's something happens
that
in
was
me.
the one
it's
that got
kind of
me.
like, am I sitting in and recognizing all of my truth, the truth of me,
whatever it is. Yeah.
And who knows, maybe something will come up and maybe it won't, but that's why I'm never going to say I don't need to look at it because done deal, I'm there,
yeah
yeah.
So I know we did say that we can take you closer to a 0, people, but clearly Moira and I just haven't done that here. We've just left ourselves to tell the truth.
That's right, we're telling the truth. And we encourage you to as well.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you. This has been an awesome conversation. I hope our listeners enjoyed it as much as we did. Well, I'm speaking for Deb. Deb enjoyed it too.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm actually really excited about digging in and doing some internal work again.
Introspection is always a cool thing to do, and perhaps we'll come back to this one. I think this is a multiple episode-y.
Yeah. Why don't you just do a month on mastering the hidden order?
Maybe we will. Maybe we'll do that.
Wow, actually, there's an idea.
There's an idea. All right, my dear
everybody, thank you, Moira.
Thank you, dear listeners. Thank you, dear Debs. You have an awesome time at the beach.
Yeah, I love that. And you're in snow.
All right. Bye. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks. Bye.